What's up, Sunshiners? We're back with episode 2 of Between Two Durians. My guest today is Funky, and he and I had a really great chat that I'm very excited to share. So without any further ado, let's just go ahead and dive right in. All right, so I'm here with Funky. Funky, how's it going?
It's going good. Thanks for asking.
Wow, thank you. So, welcome to the podcast interview series extravaganza.
Yeah,
So,
thanks for having me.
yeah, would you like to tell me a little about your history with bingo and sunshine?
Yeah, sure. This is like a job interview, Tell me about yourself. You're supposed to talk about your past, present, and future. That's what they say.
Indeed.
With bingo, yeah, I've been playing Sunshine like my whole life, right? The generic answer. And then my friend Salem, I used to stream like a ton back in 2020 and 2021, like when COVID was kind of its peak. I just started streaming more, and I got like a bunch of people and friends and stuff. And one of my friends, Salem, was like, "Yo, I know you like Sunshine. You should check out this channel called Sunshine Community." I was like, "Okay." So I click on it, and then they're doing like Sunshine Bingo, and I was like, "Whoa, what the heck is this? This is so cool." I was like, I've never seen bingo before for video games or anything. Whenever I heard of bingo, I thought it like, old people go to like the
Old lady
firehouse
bingo.
or yeah, exactly. So I was instantly hooked as a viewer. It was like super addicting. And the funny thing is, Salem doesn't even show up to that channel. Like, I don't even know how he found the channel, but I quickly found myself addicted and like integrated with bingo since then.
Nice. And now you're starting to become a player semi-seriously. You won a certain would you like to talk about your recent bingo-thon win?
I wouldn't say semi seriously, but yeah. Um, Bingothon has hosted an event called Get Yourself Bingoing 2, which I guess this is the second iteration. And as part of it, they introduced Super Mario Sunshine to their lineup with Bry Guy, Tomato, and Dex as like coaches. And the intention was like people who have never played bingo before or like are new to Sunshine should sign up. And I wasn't gonna sign up because I'm like by nature like really competitive, like way too competitive for my own good, which is why I actually avoid playing games for the most part. Uh, So whenever like bingo comes around, I'm like I'll just commentate and I'll restream and stuff because that's enjoyable for me. I like to watch it. But when it comes to playing it, I get tilted like really fast because like mentally I know like what my plan is, what I do, but then mechanically like obviously I haven't grinded the game for hundreds of hours because I just never did. So I suck at the game. So I didn't want to sign up. And then Braden Mellon kept going like, no, just sign up, just sign up. I was like, oh yeah, you know what? You're kind of right. So I just signed up. And then I think that I was like, and this is not to sound like a narcissist, but my skill level was much higher than the rest of the group that signed up since they were all like pretty much barely touched the game. Whereas I play the game at least once a year, at least, if not multiple times a year. So I did win that event. If you even call it a win, we only played like a handful of matches, but it was still fun. And now, like, yeah, I kind of want to play more, but I'm at a weird skill level where I'm like at the hella noob tier. So there's not like a lot of a player base, but there's a few people I could play with to like try to grind and get better.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
what do you think is like the barrier to entry to getting started? Like is their childhood advantage, like because like I have the same thing, right, where like I've played the game many times over the years, so I feel like it's just like I don't know how to do like tricks and stuff, but I'm like, okay, like I know the game like well enough that it's like versus somebody who's like never played the game before, which is always crazy to me that like there's people out there that haven't played like the games of my childhood.
Right.
But yeah, what do you think is like, I mean, what is it like to start off as a beginner, if you can call it that, in the bingo world?
Yeah. That's actually a really good question. Um, I think the barrier to entry is really high, unfortunately, because pretty much like 99% of the resources for Sunshine and Bingo are geared towards like speedrunners who are already established and have an understanding of the mechanics and movement concepts. And so when I was going through my little training arc, I was like, yeah, let me learn some stuff. I was going through like the Dex playlist because I was like linked on the Discord, right? And these are all recorded from like 4 years ago when like Dex was in his prime or whatever. I'm just kidding. And I'm watching these tutorials and like I recognize some of the movement, like I can do most of the movement, but there are some things that are just completely not beginner friendly, right? And I called Dex out on it. I'm like, dude, this is not beginner friendly. He's like, oh, I meant beginner, like you're new to bingo, but you're a Sunshine speedrunner. I'm like, dude, that's like, what is the point of this, right? All the resources are unhelpful in that regard. So you really have to have like help from the community. So when I stream the game, people will come into my chat and actually offer me advice. So like Ramada will tell me what to do through the text chat, or like Ambosher will tell me what to do through the text chat, and I have to kind of decipher that and like do it. Like Tomato will help me too, but it works, right? Like people are kind of coaching you, and I think that's like really inefficient. So I actually do have an idea to lower the barrier to entry, was to make my own YouTube series of like bingo for beginners or something, where I would basically go through all the bingo like routing, movement, and mechanics from the perspective of a new player, like a newer player like me who's not a speedrunner. So that way all that information is like super digestible and easy to follow, and then newer players have something that they can use to be consistent. Because every time I watch like people that are new to the game, they'll die in the secret like Bianco 3 like 5 times in a row. But there are like tricks you can do to have consistent movement, even if it's not like the speedrun IL. You can still do like a casual, consistent movement method. So stuff like that, I think would be super useful for like lowering the barrier to entry, so that someone like you, Andrew, or like, you know, you don't play competitively, you know, you just play casually. This series would be like perfect for like Andrew, or for, you know, anyone that's just wants to play but they're not a speedrunner, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That's how I feel watching, is I'm like, okay, like I get what's happening. I'm like, I don't know how to do it. So like my last casual playthrough was after like getting more involved with the bingo stuff, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try this clip, and I'm like, okay, I
Yeah.
don't know how they do it. Like I tried like a couple of whenevers. I was like, how do you even throw the fruit? Like I just kept dropping it, and I was like, okay, this is like all it would take is like a 10-second tutorial that's like, okay, like you're gonna
Yeah.
hold the joystick in this direction and then you're gonna press this button, because it's like some of that stuff is so, just the controls in a Nintendo game like that are already kind of
Mhm.
unintuitive. Like Super Mario 64, it's like there's like, you know, there's what, like backwards long jumps and crazy stuff like that, and it's like,
Yeah.
maybe that was in like the manual, but it's like, come on, nobody has that anymore, and if you do, like, you already know that game way too well, because why are you holding on to that?
Yeah.
But it's like, if you were to just like start playing Sunshine and you'd never played it before, like, yeah, there's the tutorial that tells you how to use flood. There's no tutorial that's like, oh, here's like a side flip, here's the back jump, like here's how to do a rollout. Like there is none of that. So it's like, and that wouldn't be like, you know, that wouldn't be too hard. So that'd be nice to see
Mhm.
some beginner resources for beginners that are trying to be a beginner, is what it really sounds
Yeah,
like.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, the speedrunning mentality is kind of crazy. So you've never done any sort of speedrunning, or like, have you watched speedrunning content on Twitch or anything before this?
Honestly, I was never really into speedrunning as a concept, just because like I knew myself like that's not something I'm ever gonna do, so I don't really care about speedruns. That was just like my mentality. And then like once I watched a run from like Bouncy Boy, who's doing like some like AGDQ run for Super Mario Sunshine, and I watched it and it was like really cool because I never seen a Sunshine speedrun. I forgot how long ago this was. This is a long time ago. Like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I watched like a Luigi's Mansion speedrun and I was like, oh man, that's really cool. But that's pretty much it. Now I watch speedruns on Twitch from just like my friends on Twitch, you know, that I've established like from the bingo community. So like I'll watch people run the game, but it's never really like my go-to content. Like I'm not gonna seek out like, oh, Super Mario Sunshine speedrun, but it's like, oh, Plankton's live. Let me go, you know, chill in his chat, you know, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how it was for me too. Where it was like, I didn't even want to watch speedruns. It's that I wanted to watch the games from my childhood. Wave it, like
Yeah.
we're talking like 10 years ago on Twitch, right? And I'm like, okay, like is anyone streaming like Pokemon Coliseum? And it's like, you know, casual, like
Oh
no cam,
yeah.
no mic or whatever, and then like person speed running, and I'm like, okay, and then you go to like the speed run, you're like, what the hell is happening? Like this, I know this game, I don't know anything else that's happening, and like, and like turn-based games are hardly even like the crazier speed runs because they're mostly just like
hmm
manipulation, but like movement-based ones, like oh my god, like Ocarina of Time is just like going through
Oh
like
man.
100 walls in under 2 minutes, and then you're like, you're done.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that's true. A lot of like retro games, 99% of them are going to be speedrunners, which is kind of annoying as like a casual player, right? Like you said, a lot of like a lot of the games that I would used to stream on Twitch, I would only do casually, and they're like games I grew up playing, right? Like Sonic and Mario, Luigi, all these games. And I did a Battle for Bikini Bottom stream just casually. This was like in 2017 or 2018 or something stupid. And I remember I was playing through it and it was just casual. And I guess like no one else streams it casually. So a bunch of speedrunners came into my chat like, yo, we run this game. You suck. And I was like, oh, my bad. But it was really funny, to be honest.
That's targeted.
So I guess all that to say is that it's a pretty good niche for a casual player to play games casually still on Twitch, you know?
Right? Yeah. No, for sure. Um,
hmm
so something I do is like you were talking about before is a general rule I have for myself is like I don't allow myself to play competitive games because I get too tilted and too toxic. And when I say competitive, I just mean like any multiplayer where it's like you against another person.
uh,
Do you have like a similar rule? Because I'm like, I know you play Counter-Strike, but I mean we all gotta bend the rules a little.
um, for me, like, I think online gaming is a bit different. Like, Counter-Strike I've been playing like forever, right? I've been playing that since I was in like middle school. So CS is like very established in like games that I like to play. And then I'll still like play League of Legends because that's the same. I actually started playing League before CS, which was also in middle school. I don't really touch it anymore because none of my friends play, but I'll still play it. Like I'm not gonna avoid that. I think more so my mentality is so lame. It's like if I don't know how to play this, I won't play it because I know I'm gonna be bad at it and that's gonna piss me off, right?
Yeah.
So that's why for bingo, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna play it because I'm gonna suck. But for like Fortnite or CS or like any shooter game, I'm really good at. I'll just pick it up just because I'm good at those. But other games, like I'm probably gonna avoid it.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I'm guilty of the exact same thing. I'm like, just, no, I don't want to do this because I would be bad, and then I'd feel bad about myself. Like,
Yeah,
and I don't have the
exactly.
time to put in to like be good. And if I can't be good at it, then what's the point? But if everyone
Yeah,
felt
but
that
it's
way,
such a
no one
loser
would.
mentality to
It
have.
is, yeah. Like we've got all the like beginners that are just out here like trying their best. They're dying in the secret 10 times
Yeah.
in a row, and I'm just like, I wouldn't die 10 times in a row because if I was doing this, like I would have practiced first, obviously. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this is why I don't let myself play. I get so toxic just right off the bat. Like nobody wants to see that.
Yeah, I think me and you are the same in that regard.
Yeah. It's okay. Any good community or like anything, like I'm always really impressed with Sunshine, the bingo community, how like there's so many people like behind the scenes making it happen. Because I think I
Yeah.
I think I talked to Mason about it, and I've said it before to other people. It's just like I watched the channel like casually for like a decade. I think I've been following it, and
hmm
like I never like it was just one of those things, like I said, where it was like, okay, like I want to see Super Mario Sunshine. I go on Twitch, and it's like, okay, what is this like Sunshine stream with a bunch of views, and go there. But
Yeah.
I've always been so impressed with the production value and just like how much effort people put into the stuff that isn't just the game, but like commentating and stuff. Because it's one thing to just like stream something, it's another to have like the really
hmm
nice layouts and have people commentating, the VOD storage, like trying to make stuff accessible that I just think is like,
Yeah.
not because like I'm restreaming too, and I'm like we're the unsung heroes, but we're kind of the unsung heroes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's a good point. Like, from the viewer perspective, we've got it down to a really smooth, like seamless viewing experience, which is like very unique and honestly, like you said, incredibly impressive. I wasn't here from like the conception of Bingo, and I don't know who put everything together. I assume like Bloha and people from Bingothon helped a lot with like Node CG, I assume. And like Lego helped a ton with stuff. But like all this foundation has been set, and now we get to just do the easy stuff, you know? Not
Yeah.
that it's like easy, but like it's all set up. And now we have this really clean UI. We have all this like cool moving pieces where like your Discord overlay will like light up when people talk. Like that's crazy, right? Like a normal Twitch stream is not gonna have that. So our production value is like crazy high for what it is. Like everyone's doing this stuff for free, you know?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like if you watch, like it's like on par in my mind with like AGDQ or something, and I'm like, something like that actually
Yeah.
has like a budget and stuff, like I assume. I mean, I know it's
Yeah.
for charity, but I'm like, obviously they have money to like rent venues and stuff, so I'm like,
Mhm.
clearly, like, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure our production value is like right on par with that in terms of like, I go in, I'm like, they could have a nicer camera or something, like there could be better lighting. I'm critical, but
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
no, it's awesome.
so you've been streaming for a while, and you've also done some YouTube content. So how have you gotten into the world of, I hate to say the phrase content creation, but just making silly goofy stuff online? Like how'd you get into those fields?
Yeah. Um when I was a kid, I used to watch YouTube because I mean like I think me and you we're around the same age group. Um and so we kind of grew up with the internet, like from dial up to what it's become, right? And so one of that is YouTube. You know, you're there from the start of YouTube, so obviously I'm gonna be on it. And I would watch all the stupid videos that you would, which was like Fred and like Smosh and Ryan Higa, all these guys. But I would also watch a lot of stop motion videos, which at the time were like hella like janky, because it's new, at least to me. Where people, I don't know, for those not familiar with stop motion, you can think of like a movie like Coraline, where they do a frame by frame picture, and you take a picture and you move the figure, you take a picture, you move the figure, and everything is done in editing. So people would do that with Legos back in the day, and my friend Liam, my neighbor, he would do it too, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever. So me and him would like make stop motion videos, and I had the little digital cameras, my sister's, and I had no tripod, so I made a tripod out of Legos so that I would have like a stable thing, and I would just like do that, and then I'd use Windows Movie Maker and cut together my little stop motion. So that's kind of how I got started, and I've always been into animation and drawing, so I would make like flip books with post-it notes, and then I would make like animations in MS Paint, which is insane to say out loud. I would draw frame by frame MS Paint images and put them into Movie Maker and make animations like that, which is crazy. um, and then Call of Duty became a thing, which has been a thing for a while, but for me, it became a thing once we got a PlayStation 3. Because before that, I never played Call of Duty. When the PS3 got released and we got one, we got Call of Duty 5, World at War, which is such a good game for so many reasons. But that's when I got into COD. So like COD 5 and Modern Warfare 2 were like my stuff, I was like grinding that like a no life, because I mean I was a kid. It was the only game I played. And I was obsessed with YouTube, right? So I would watch all like the Call of Duty YouTubers, like CNanners and like Only Use Me Blade and like all these guys, right? And I just wanted to be a YouTuber so bad because of like, I grew up watching it. So I would take my little digital camera and I would record my Call of Duty, and I had the like highest pitched squeaker voice. I wish I still had these videos, but I deleted them because I'm stupid. And I'm like, "What's up, guys? So today I'm gonna show you how to like." It's so dumb, and it just progressed. As I was doing that, and then I was doing Minecraft tutorials, also at the age of like 11, which got a lot of views, by the way, because back then modding Minecraft was really difficult. It was not easy. Today you just run an installer. Back then there was like no installer, no guides. You had to go and do all these stupid things, and like your meta inf, you have to delete meta inf. If you don't delete this file, your game will black screen. You have to do all this stuff. And like the gun mod was like the most complicated thing ever. So I would digest all this information and I would make it into tutorials because I just always like doing that. I like making guides and tutorials. And that's pretty much my progression path. And then I did Let's Plays of all these games like Minecraft and Simpsons and Sonic and stuff. And then Twitch became a thing. And I was on Twitch since like, I don't remember, 2011 or 2012 or something. I started streaming in like 2017, really. And yeah, I've just always been doing YouTube and content since I was a kid. TLDR.
Yeah. Isn't that funny? Like there's always this stuff in your life that you just like, and you kind of like come back to it and dabble in it, and like it evolves in the ways that you engage with it. But like it's like it's always just like eventually, no matter how much time passes, you're just like, you know what? Like I haven't done that in a while. I wanna go back to that. Like try something.
Yeah.
Try whatever's the hot flavor. I know you've made some goofy shorts on YouTube. I may or may not have watched a couple recently, which is
Yeah.
just you and your roommate having fun, right?
Yeah. Um yeah, I mean I've always been into like comedy writing and like making videos. So there's like a channel that I had with my friends like when we were in high school. I've always obsessed with making videos, like as you can tell, right? I've been doing so as a kid. And I've been like trying to like, doing stuff alone is hard. So I try to force my friends to do things with me. It makes it easier because now I have actual people who can be actors and we can bounce ideas off each other. So like me, my friend Samir, my friend Saad, I kind of convinced them to like, let's make videos together. It's gonna be fun. And it was fun. We had a lot of fun. We were making so many scripts. I still have a journal full of all our scripts of like comedy videos. And they're genuinely they're funny. I think the writing is like really good. And my friend Zarif like memorized some of the videos. That's how much he liked them. Like that's how funny he thought they were. I'm like, oh dude, you're real. He'll still like quote them and reference them. Like holy shit, elite ball knowledge. Um, but yeah, we would make all these like fun videos, and it was just so fun. And since then, I just been obsessed with like writing and like skit ideas and comedy ideas. And my mind is just that like my brain would literally change when I was out and about in the world. I'm like, oh man, this would be such a cool shot. You know, that's literally all I would think about is like, dude, we should record something here. And I would just write stuff down like, let's record at this school, in this classroom, or, in this neighborhood. There's this weird parking garage would be a cool set. And like stuff like that. Obviously, over the years, no one wants to record anymore. People are busy. And then you're kind of back to yourself. And making content by yourself sucks. I'll just be honest, especially comedy content is so awkward. It's so awkward because there's no one there. It's just you. And you're either holding the camera or you have a tripod. And the tripod makes it even more awkward. So for a long time, I lost a lot of motivation to make videos because I'm like, dude, I don't feel like doing this. But now that I'm with my roommate, it makes it like way easier because I'm just like, well, literally, I'll be talking with my roommate, Osama. And then, we kind of like jib jab or whatever, and like, oh man, that's a good skit. And so I'm like, here, record this, and I make him hold the phone, and he's like, okay. And then we just go over exactly what we just said, but obviously I do it in a more exaggerated manner, and that's like so fun for me. It's just like natural, stupid videos, and I like doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the goofiness of like the original YouTube era, where it felt like you were just watching people like goof around. And I mean, like you were talking about is like the production value from back then. I keep using that term, but like the production value, I
Yeah.
feel like that stuff on YouTube. I feel like when I was growing up watching that stuff, like I had no appreciation for that because I was just a kid and I just thought like this is funny. And
Yeah.
it wasn't until like I was older that I was like, okay, here's like a stupid, like 20-year-old video I watched on YouTube, and it's literally just somebody like with the camera pointed at like the screen, like messing around in Wind Waker, and that's like whatever. And then I think of like
Yeah.
the Kelly videos, like text message breakup, shoes,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and like those. I mean,
Yeah.
that's my like I can quote that stuff from like memory, like that's my hyperfixation.
Shoes. Let's get some shoes.
And like
Yeah.
as an adult looking back at that, you're like, dude, the production value that Liam Kyle Sullivan had on those videos, like it's like basically like a whole cast of people. He has cameos from people like Margaret Cho. Like when I was a kid, I didn't realize there was like a celebrity cameo. It was just like, oh, who's this random lady? And it's like you're older and you're like, whoa, people were actually like trying hard even when YouTube was like in its infancy. But those videos are right alongside people that were just dicking around, which is like kind of what's brilliant. Is it's like it doesn't really matter if the production value is like good or not. It's just like whether the thing itself is enjoyable.
That's so true. And that's like back when YouTube wasn't like there was no meta, and like content was actually enjoyable and like you could find content, Now it's like you're gonna watch what I tell you to watch because it's set up the way we want it to be set up because it makes the most money off ad revenue and stupid stuff like that. Like, yeah, you're never gonna see Wind Waker Part 1 .mov from XX Cool Guy 23 anymore. Now you're only gonna see Squeaks best clip compilation, which I love Squeaks, but like those are the only like videos you're gonna see,
Yeah, you're gonna see the thumbnails that are like
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just it kills me, yeah, because it's so like it's been so like broken down and everyone's just imitating like what they think works, and it's like, and it's because it does work
Yeah.
on some
Yeah.
levels. I sent a screenshot to my friend the other day of like my subscription page on YouTube, and I was like, dude, like half of these thumbnails are all like just like mouth open, and I was like, every time I see this, I get like my blood pressure goes up a little bit, because I'm just like, it's so disingenuous, where I'm like, nobody's going around in their personal life just like, and like I follow like fiber art stuff on YouTube, so it's people talking about yarn and knitting and stuff, and they're just like, I tried 15 new yarns from Michaels, and it's like, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's like that's the meta.
and yeah, I said that to my friend. He's like, the sad thing is it works, and I'm like, I know, but I fucking hate it. Like, it's just like, especially because I feel like, I don't know, I've never been that big on YouTube. Like, I've always
Mhm.
been like watching YouTube, but like my cousin is like, she's like a YouTube head or whatever you want to call it. Like, we're talking like
Mhm.
hours a day, like borderline addiction levels. I worry about her sometimes. But like
Yeah.
that was always my thing with like Twitch. So I know more about Twitch because I've participated in it more over the years. But
Mhm.
I feel like YouTube is kind of in that era where everybody wants to be a YouTuber, but I don't feel like people quite as much now. I don't feel like there's quite as much of like, I want to be a streamer and like have thousands of viewers and like all that. But that was like such a thing, like, I don't know, 5 to 10 years ago, where it was people were just like watching, um, you know, I don't even know the popular streamers, but they were watching people with thousands of viewers getting like donations like every minute and stuff. And people were like, oh, I really want to like do that. And then people like try it
Mhm.
and realize like it sucks. And it's like a grind with zero guaranteed payoff.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, so like I admire that you're able to just do it for like the enjoyment, because I know a lot of people that have like had false promises of like, oh, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna like be successful at it, and it's gonna like go somewhere, and like that's just the surefire way to kill your motivation and
Yeah.
stuff. Like, you got to just do it because it's fun, and do it for silliness.
No, I mean it's true. And it's funny you say that because when I first started streaming, it was like, yeah, I'm just gonna do it because it's fun. And it was also a good excuse for me to play video games. Because, as you get older, you prioritize things differently. And also with this is gonna be like a little side rant. I'm not gonna make it too long because I don't want to like get into this tangent right
Please
now.
take your time.
With like the increase of like technology developing so rapidly, we've becoming so exposed to so many like things that would hijack your attention span, right? And like gaming is like not as up there as like short form content and like YouTube videos and like Twitch streams. So I would play games even less as like, technology develops because I'm like, oh, I don't feel like playing right now. I just want to watch something. It's easier to consume than it is, to like actively think while you're playing a game. So I was like, okay, I'll start streaming and it'll force me to play games again because, I love gaming and I don't do it anymore. So that's what I did initially. So I forced myself to stream almost every day after work. I would just come home from work and then I'd just play, Mario or something on stream. But then it got to a point where I was getting a lot of viewers consistently. And of course, mentally, at the age I was at too, this was like 6 years ago, so I was a lot younger. I'm getting a consistent, 20 to 30 viewers every stream, which is crazy. If you think about the numbers at Twitch, the average person gets like one view a stream, right? You're like, and it's usually like a friend or something. Getting 10 people in your chat is a big deal. Having a moving chat is insane, dude. Like, I had at one point a consistent like 40 viewers in my streams, which was crazy. And of course, with all that mentally, it evolved from, yeah, I'm doing this for fun to like, no, I'm going to grind the shit out of this and I'm going to try every freaking day. I'm putting on a performance. I'm acting on stream. It got to that point where I would do vocal warm ups before my streams because I would use my voice so much doing voices and screaming and, playing up the content, right? And all that's to say is it went nowhere. Like, you know, it wasn't guaranteed and people have lives and I'm also just not a sellout, which is like kind of a weird thing to say out loud, but it's true, bro. Like if you want to be successful, you have to be a sellout, you have to be annoying, you have to be a weirdo, and there's no judgment to that. But like that's just not the person I am. So I'm not gonna be, like
overly hounding all this like the meta and the details and researching what works and what doesn't. I'm just playing the game, and if you're gonna watch, you're gonna watch. And so yeah, I took a break from the internet for like a year or two for mental health, which helped a lot. And now I'm back on the internet, and now I'm streaming like the original intention, which is whenever I have time, when I feel like it, and it's just fun, and I don't care about the views, which is the mentality everyone should have, because you're never gonna get famous, you're not gonna be successful, so just do it to have fun, which is what you should do for everything. Same with content creation. Like I'm not making videos to become famous. I'm making videos because I enjoy doing it. I always have, and I always will. You know, so that's just my little. What you said reminded me of that mentality I used to have and how I think now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get like political or anything, of course, but it's like you can't like not be like, okay, address the giant like capitalism elephant in the room,
Yeah.
right? And it's like I go through the same thing, right? Doing fiber arts, people, it's been a while since I've had someone make the comment, but like I crochet and I knit, and I've
Hmm.
had people be like, whoa, that's so cool. You could sell that. Like, have you considered selling that?
Oh.
And it's like, oh, it's so sad because like they say stuff like that with the best of intentions. Like I don't judge the
Right.
person. I'm just like, I hate that we live in a society where it's like that's the first place your brain goes is like, oh, cool thing, like money should be made off of
Side
that.
hustle, right?
Yeah. And I know I like because I watch a lot of like fiber arts content on like YouTube and stuff. Like there's
Hmm.
people going at it hard, and like they're going down like the influencer path of like, you know, they're doing all the meta stuff like you talked about. They're trying to, you know, parasocially engage with their audience and stuff, and
Oh
it's
yeah.
so gross. Like it's just
Yeah.
I can't
Oh my gosh.
I can't stand it. I mean, there's one person, like, of course, I'm not going to say like anybody, but it's like
Yeah.
there's a popular person who started like 6 years ago or something, and their channel started
Hmm.
off and it was just tutorials. It was just like
Hmm.
a little
Yeah.
quick introduction, like welcome to my channel. You know, here's a tutorial. I'm gonna be showing you how to do this, and then it's just like a tutorial. And then over time, it's just become more and more of like lifestyle, you know, like now I'm just sitting in front of the camera instead of behind the camera filming the tutorial. I'm sitting
Hmm.
in front of it and I'm talking about things, and I'm also kind of plugging my own, you know, collabs with companies that have come out over the years, and also I have
Yeah.
sponsors. And like it's just like it really bums me out because it's just so like it just kind of ruins it. And then even like smaller, you know, content creators, you're like, okay, I'll go watch somebody that's not like super popular, that's not like, you know, grinding, and you go to try and find somebody smaller and they're trying to grind too because they're like, I want to be big like that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
where are the like, and I don't mean to sound judgmental, but I'm like, where are the authentic people at? Like, where are the people that are just people, you know, like that aren't putting on this performative kind of thing? But you know,
It's capitalism, you
yeah,
know.
a year detox from the internet sounds great. I'm like, you know, I've been trying to detox from like, certain like platforms and apps and stuff, like get them off my
Hmm.
phone and just like limit usage and stuff. Cause it's so easy to just go overboard, you know?
Yeah, it is. It's go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say like digital minimalism is a term that's thrown around, which is just a concept of like, you know, minimalism but applied to your digital life. So like using only what's necessary. So like for example, on your smartphone, instead of like bringing it with you to the bathroom, just like leave it on the table, right? You don't need to be scrolling on your phone when you're taking a dump,
Yep.
but you do it anyways, right? Stuff like that. Digital minimalism. If anyone's interested, look into that. And then also like something else I've done is called like a dopamine detox, which sounds like a buzzword, but I did it and it was actually I learned a lot from it. So that's also something people should look into if you find yourself addicted to anything really. Um, yeah.
What was that experience like for you?
Basically, I watched some random YouTube video. It showed up on my feed where it's like, I did a dopamine detox. And I'm like, the hell is that? So I click on it, some British dude. And then he's like, I want to go 7 days without any junk food, any like no masturbation, no digital anything, like no media, no music. The only like source of entertainment that you should use would be like reading a book or something. And basically, no easy ways to farm dopamine, right? Because that's like the evolutionary purpose of that is to make you do things that are worth doing. So your brain rewards you for doing those things. But, you know, companies have found a way to like engineer everything to make your brain feel good so that you want to keep doing those things, which are bad for you. So you do this for 7 days and you realize so fast how you're using your time and what you're doing. And like, you know, it just makes you think so much like, damn, I really do waste 9 hours a day on my computer watching YouTube. Or wow, I wasted 6 hours today on Instagram. That's insane. Whereas comparatively, if you're not doing any of that, you know, you have to be present and in the moment and really aware of what you're thinking. And that's another reason why a lot of people are addicted to like media, is so that they can numb their brain and they don't have to think. That's the reason that I was addicted to, is I didn't want to think, because when you stop thinking, then you get depressed and all this shit, right? But it's all coping, and it's any kind of like, you know, abusing like any kind of substance like marijuana or alcohol. Same with like digital media, is I would akin that to like a substance abuse, especially like pornography. That's even like more extreme. It's really bad. But I learned so much from this experience, and with only 7 days, I learned I don't know if this is cope or not, but I could genuinely feel after that when my brain started lighting up, you know, like if I watched like something like porn, you know, I'll just say it. If you watch it, you can feel how intensely your brain starts lighting up. You're like, oh, okay, this is clearly bad for me. Because like your brain's like, man, this is awesome. Like we should keep watching. Like, no, dude, this shit's fucking bad for you. You're ruining your brain. And like stuff like that. But I wouldn't be aware of that previously. Where I'd watch a movie and then afterwards you kind of feel low because like the high was so high and now the low is so low, and it's because you use so much of the resources in your brain. So just like feeling that and knowing that like makes navigating life so much easier. And like, I don't know, that's like my rant, you know.
Yeah, no,
Take care of your brain.
yeah, it's true. And like the other thing about dopamine is like also like any substance is like, in order to get the full effect from it over time, you build up a tolerance. I mean, I know it's probably like not what you would call it with dopamine necessarily, since it's a brain release by our chemicals, but you know, some kind of tolerance that's effectively like you need more dopamine, or like you get adjusted to receiving more, so you feel the effects less, just like everything else. And yeah, it's crazy too, because I watched this one YouTuber that was made this little short about dating advice, and at the time, like I was watching a lot of information about I was watching a lot of like self-help and dating things, because that was kind of where I was at in life. And this person made this short that said, they were like, the reason emotionally unavailable addictive people are emotionally unavailable people are so addictive is because dopamine spikes way higher when rewards are random and intermittent. So somebody whose behavior is really inconsistent and you don't know what you're going to get from them, it draws you in more than somebody that's just consistent and shows up for you and all that. Like, that's, our brain interprets that as like a little more boring because it's consistent. Whereas like then the metaphor they used was like, it's like a person sitting at a slot machine. It's like they're gonna keep pulling the thing because it's like eventually you're gonna get that random reward, and it's like the brain chemical reward is so much higher for, like, you know, you don't know when it's gonna happen, you don't know at what frequency, at what amount, you know, that kind of stuff. And yeah, I worry about, you know, internet addiction and stuff. I feel like everything in the last, like, I don't know, 20 years or whatever, I feel like it's one of those things like we're not really taking seriously enough. And like, you know, if you look through history, there's so many things that's like we thought were like great ideas, and then like with hindsight, we look back at like what we were doing in medicine and stuff, and we're like, oh my god, like look at like lobotomies or stuff like I have this one story from like my dad. When he was a kid, he's told me that when he was a kid, he was at the beach and he saw another kid at the beach that had no arms, and the kid that had no arms was because the mom had taken thalidomide, I think is what it was called, which was a drug prescribed for morning sickness back in, like, I guess it would have had to have been like the 50s. And it could cause things like birth defects, like missing limbs. And it's like, you know, something like that. It's just like, you know, right off the bat, we're like, okay, cool. Like, this is this great thing. And it's like, oh shit, never mind. No, bad. Don't do that. So
yeah,
like, I feel like we're kind of in the throngs of that right now, but it's just like, everybody's so, we're all in so deep. It's just like, it's really hard to like kind of reach the surface. and like that, and not to be all like, conspiracy or whatever, but it's like,
Uh-huh.
and there's monetization behind it and stuff. So it's like there's a benefit to keeping people kind of,
I
entrenched
don't
in
even think
this.
that's a conspiracy. I think that's just
It
the
just
reality of
is.
the world we live in.
Yeah.
Like, why would they want you to not be addicted?
Yeah.
They have only to gain with
Right.
the more people they get addicted, you know?
Yeah. Look at stuff like tobacco. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, deep philosophical discussion. So now for a totally random pivot. So
Uh-huh.
so you live some of the time in Virginia, right? You live some of the time in New York because your family's back in Virginia. But I don't know if I know the
Uh-huh.
story of how did you wind up in New York, like New York City specifically, because that seems kind of crazy.
I mean, it was pretty crazy. My friend Osama, my roommate, we were in DC, and he was just like, "Yeah, come to this event with me. It'll be fun." I was like, "Okay." And he was using this app called Meetup, where people will post little events and like, "Hey, we're doing this thing. Come show up." And so it was like a little talking group outside of like this cathedral in DC. So it was a very nice setting, and it's just a group of like two groups, and they'll split you up and they'll give you like little prompts to read off, and everyone kind of gives their input to the prompt. And it was fun. I was just basically hearing different people's perspectives. You meet a lot of different people that way from all different walks of life. And after the event, me and Sam were like, "Oh, let's go get food." So we sit down, we're eating, and then he's telling me of his plans. Like, "Oh man, I want to go to New York." Um, and he's lived in New York for a few months previously, maybe like 3 months, to try to like scope out the scene, see what was going on. And he's like, "Yeah, I want to move back more like long term," because he was at the time he was like heavily into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or BJJ. And one of the best gyms in the world is in New York City. So like fighters from all across the world will train here. And Asama was like really into it, like more than the average person. It's not like a dad going after work. He was like, that was his hyperfixation. He's grinding this every single day, all day. He's sweaty. He lives and breathes and eats this, right? Well, yeah, it makes sense for you, dude. Go for it, man. Like that's obviously the next evolution in your fighting career. And he's telling me like, yeah, you should come with me. And I'm like, what? And then for context, in my personal life and how I operate, I'm like a super cautious person. So I'm the opposite of Osama. He's very like brash and impulsive. I'm the opposite. I'm very like I'm gonna think about what I'm doing, maybe more than I need to think about it, but at least I'm cautious and I'm not gonna do something stupid, right? He's the opposite. He doesn't think, he just does. And so we're naturally like a really good cohesive friendship because we're like we can bounce off each other and push each other where we need to and grow and stuff. And for those reasons, he was giving me like this whole like rundown of why I should move. He's like, you can really work on yourself, because I guess more context. Culturally, we're both Pakistani, and in this culture, the children are not expected to move out of the house. It's a very much a communal culture compared to like the Western society where it's very individualistic and kids are expected to leave the house at 18 and basically live their own life. It's the opposite in like Pakistani culture, a lot of South Asian culture and Middle Eastern cultures is like, no, you live with your family, you get married, your wife moves in, or your spouse moves in with the family, blah blah blah, and everyone lives together. In an ideal world, sure, that's cool, right? But like obviously, like that's not really realistic in a lot of society that we live in the West, especially. It's just not like doesn't work, and boundaries get like fudged, and it gets messy. So I never really had the chance to live by myself as an adult because I went to a commuter college because it was cheaper. Um, Commuter college means that I drive to college every day, right?
Mhm.
So I didn't like move out and do anything. So I was like, we can finally live as adults away from family. That's really, honestly, it's pivotal, I think, for growing as a person. So you gave me like this whole like list. I'm like, for once, dude, yeah, I'll think about it. Cause he usually tries to give me some like BS ideas. I'm like, dude, that's stupid. I'm not doing that. And then I'm like, okay, you genuinely let me digest this. And I'm like, yeah, this is a good idea. I talked to my brother. He's like, dude, you're stupid. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you already have a house. You're already paying this. You're XYZ. Like, why would you move? And then I talked to him more. He's like, actually, you're right. You should do it. You're not married. You're not, just do it, man. And I'm like, yeah, exactly, right? I talked to my sister, same exact conversation. She's like, actually, yeah, you should do it. Then I had to convince my mom. Um, Obviously, like, she's super against it. But my mom is a lot more, like, empathetic. And she's like, if that's what you want to do, you should do it. And then I just told my dad. I don't really have a relationship with him, but I just told him like, hey, I'm doing this. He's like, okay, I can't really say no, right? Blah blah blah. That's how I moved. Me and Asami rented a car for the 4th of July weekend. We packed up all our stuff. We drove it to New York. Then we spent the entire weekend frantically on Facebook Marketplace spamming people. Can I buy this right now? Can I buy this right now? Can I buy this right now? Because we had a car in New York City. Like, let me get this bed frame. Let me get this mattress. All this big stuff that you cannot carry on the subway. Like, let me pick this up right now. I'll pay you this much, please. And we got it done in 2 days, which was crazy. We were like driving and running all over the place. It was crazy. But yeah, that's the story. So
Did you guys already
yeah.
have a rental? Like, please tell me you at least like drove to New York and you knew like where you were gonna live. Like,
yeah, we secured the apartment.
okay,
first,
okay,
yeah.
thaned God, because I was like, I thought that story was going very different. Like,
No.
we got in the car and we were just like, I don't know, we'll sign a lease when we get there. Like, because I Manhattan real estate sounds more terrifying than like anything in the world.
No, that we definitely we went a weekend like a month before to like scope it out and check out some properties. But yeah, we found one, we signed for it, and they were like, okay, approved. And then we moved in. We didn't do it beforehand.
Nice. And then so how do you feel about like living in New York? Like, was it was it an adjustment from where you came before, where you lived with your family? Like, were you in more like suburban area? Because like you can't get more metropolitan than New York. I've only been one time and it was like a lot for me, because especially coming from Southern California, it's like same like populations and stuff, but just spread out over like a much wider distance. And then New York, everything is just like so compact and just like vertical with all the tall buildings and everything.
Yeah.
I was like overwhelmed.
That's a good point. It's definitely different, like you said. I mean, I grew up in the suburbs of like, it's called Northern Virginia. And so it's kind of like the suburbs of DC, kind of, but it's not really. It's like its whole own entity. And Northern Virginia in itself is like actually insanely densely populated because of all the federal workers. So a lot of people will move there. So now it's just become this whole, and like, Nova is so expensive now because like the cost of living is actually crazy there. Compared to New York, it's much cheaper though. But even there, it's like crazy. But yeah, I mean, moving here was definitely like a difference. Like you said, everything is like overwhelming. And at first, yeah, I mean, I was definitely overwhelmed, like in terms of everything, like visually, audibly, physically. You're walking everywhere, whereas in the suburbs, you're driving everywhere. The subway, like in New York, you walk, you take the subway. You can have a car, but I have no need for a car. So your legs get adjusted, your feet get adjusted. You get more exercise in naturally, which is pretty cool. And then like all the sensory stuff, right? Like audio and vision, like you're just seeing stuff constantly. It's kind of insane, but it's also cool because now every time I step outside, it's like, whoa, like
Yeah, there's a whole world
that.
going on.
Yeah. And like in Virginia, like it's never like that, dude. The only time I'm like, whoa, is like, ooh, the sky's extra blue today. That's, stuff like that. But otherwise, it's like, oh yeah, there's my car, there's my neighbor's car, and there's traffic,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I did want to ask about your on the earlier subject of like getting stuff done and being a kind of an ideas guy. I wanted to ask about your new obsession with journaling that you were talking about on stream very animatedly the other day, and give you another chance to get on a soapbox and talk about everything you've learned with journaling.
Sure. I'm running off screen to grab the book so I can plug it.
All right.
This is the book. It's called Getting Things Done by David Allen. And I highly recommend people read this book. And the reason I say that is because the essence of this book is exactly as the title says. It's just helping you get things done. And what that means is basically like his whole system is about how do you set up your day, how do you set up your week, and how do you set up your month? And how do you incorporate these habits to see measurable progress through all the things you want to do? Because most people, including myself, I'm not planning anything. I'm going to plan a video. Yeah, I'll write the script. I'll do this, I'll do that, But in terms of other things, like, oh, I need to buy this ticket, or I need to, like, do my laundry, I need to do XYZ. Oh, I got to interview with Andrew, right? Or a bingo video with Andrew. I got to text my friend Samir. All this stuff naturally would be in my head. And I would forget about it until you message me like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, oh, shoot, that was today. But the benefit of this system is that you are not surprised and you're proactive rather than reactive. So you write down everything into what's like called a capture. So if you have any idea, any thought, that's, you keep thinking about it, you write it down. And then after you capture it, you clarify it. So it's like, I'll give an example, like check IRS email. I got an email from the IRS talking about like my tax return. So I wrote that down, and then you clarify it, like check this email and, define the next action. And I scheduled that for today because they emailed me yesterday and I didn't get to it. So that's in my daily review. Like you do stuff like this, and then if something's gonna take more than like 2 steps, you define it as a project, and there's like a whole process. And basically the point is you're making progress on things and you reflect on it daily and weekly and monthly, so that way nothing gets lost in your sight. And it's like really, really good. Like I can't explain it all in 5 minutes. It's more complex than that, but it's also at the same time really simple. And when you think about it, it's like, yeah, I don't know why I never thought about this. So I recommend it.
Yeah, that's really cool. I've been trying to do like not exactly that, but the last few years, um, just like the notes app on my phone, honestly, just like when I'm thinking about something, I'm like, write that down, like, because it's, yeah, we lose like so much. Like you have a great idea, and then like I walk into another room and I'm like, what did I come in here for? So it's like I know,
Yeah.
like there's, if I think of something, I gotta write it down immediately or it's gonna be gone. Sometimes I don't even write it down with enough context. I'm like, what was I trying to like talk? That's the worst. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's like I like that. I feel like people get kind of, I don't know, like weird about the concept of like, I'm just going to call it like self-help because I think it kind of falls
Yeah.
under that umbrella. And I feel like people get kind of weird about self-help and just like the concept in general. People are like, oh, like only losers need self-help or whatever. And I just had this conversation with my friend the other day. We were talking again about like dating self-help stuff. And it was like,
Uh-huh.
some of it comes from a place of like, if you just didn't grow up with like, the right kind of stuff modeled for you or like good behaviors or whatever, it's like,
Yeah.
you just need someone to like say all of these things in order for you to understand like, hey, this is actually like how, for example, like, a healthy relationship works. It's like, because you just don't know that. It's like, I feel like there's definitely room for stuff like self-help to turn into like MLMs and stuff. Like it can definitely like be a little like predatory if the people are trying to like aggressively like monetize it or something like that. But like a lot
Yeah.
of it is just like, it's just people putting their own take on it, on something, and it's like sometimes you just need to hear somebody say something in a way that makes sense to you. Like I'm sure there's so many how to like get stuff done type of things, but like this one just like resonated with you because you were just like, oh, like this makes sense. But you could have read another book that was like about the same thing and you would have just been like, whatever. But like this particular one just happened to click and you were like, yes, like this makes sense and like motivates me.
Yeah, man. That's exactly what it is. And yeah, like there is definitely a stigma around like self-help books and like self-improvement as like an industry, I guess. Cuz people, not everyone, but I think the people that think like how you described, they might have this idea that like, why should I let someone tell me what to do? Like I know what I'm doing. I don't need XYZ. So people might be like hesitant to do things because they don't want to feel like they're wrong. And I think that mindset is really ignorant and it's very like closed-minded, and you're never going to get far if you're not willing to, you know, acknowledge your flaws and work on them, and also just like receive help from others. Like there's nothing wrong with getting help from people. And yeah, I mean, like I read some self-improvement books. Some of them are like, yeah, I could have gone without that, like you said. But then some of them are also like, new concepts which were never really think about. Like there's a book called like Everybody, or no, there's a book called Surrounded by Idiots, which is, a capturing title, like a title that kind of clickbaits you. But it's a really good book about communication and how different people think and communicate. And they break it down in such a way that you can easily target someone as like, oh, this person's a yellow-green thinker, which means like, they're a lot more like calm in the green essence. There's like a whole list. And then the yellow is like, oh, they're a little more friendly and bubbly. Like I would categorize you as like a yellow-green. Whereas you would see someone that's maybe a bit more assertive and aggressive and like, you know, like Brunt, that would be like a red thinker. Like it's not necessarily that they're an asshole. It's just that the way their brain works and the way they communicate is just like clear cut. That's like a Larvae. He's like a red.
That's who I was thinking of as soon as you described that.
Yeah. So like books like that are like concepts you never really think about until someone explains it to you. And it's the same with like you said, like dating videos and stuff. Like, and same with like this getting things done is like, dude, like nobody in my life is telling me how to do stuff. No one's telling me, oh, you should review things daily. You should review like, you don't learn that in school. You don't learn that anywhere. Like my parents not gonna teach me that. They're immigrants, they don't know this shit. Like they just got here. You know what I mean? So like that's the benefit.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, and like you're not gonna just magically figure it out on your own. Like you might trial and error or something, but it's like if somebody has like a system, and it's not like you have to follow stuff like that even to the letter. Like there's like if you remember like Marie Kondo, the whole like spark joy thing, like that's like there are obviously a million different like methodologies or whatever to how to like clean or organize your space or whatever. And hers is like focused, she has this whole philosophy, and like I really believe in it. And she even says of her own philosophy, at least I think, or I've at least seen other people expressing the sentiment, is like, you don't even have to follow everything she says. You can just take the parts of it that you like and just apply that. Like no one is saying like you have to like rigidly follow all these rules. It's just like, find a piece of it that like resonates and be like, okay, I really like this, but I'm going to do this other thing like my way because I like this better,
Yeah, and that's really how I think most realistic people would frame things anyways. Like same with this book. It's like I'm not following it 100% how he describes it. I'm digesting it and regurgitating it in my perspective. Like this makes sense to me. And I'm still following maybe the core principles what he's trying to, come across. The same with like the Marie Kondo thing is like, she's like, does this bring you joy and stuff? Maybe you're not gonna do that with every single thing you own, but maybe with like if you get a lot of clutter in your closet, like that would be a good way to apply it. Stuff like that. Even with religion, like I'm not a religious person, but I understand like the benefit of it, right? It's a utility for people. But the people that will follow it 100% to a T, it's like, dude, what are you doing? Like you're sabotaging yourself, really. You should take what's good about it and what you enjoy about it and practice that stuff. Like that's my mentality, but I'm not gonna get into that whole.
Yeah.
But that when you said that, it kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's like anybody that follows anything 100% blindly just because someone else is telling them to is like that person's got bigger issues, clearly. Like you got to do some thinking for yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
But the other book that you mentioned with like the different types of thinkers, that stood out to me too, because I was like, I think about that all the time where like there's certain people, especially the one that came to mind was like, do you know those people that are just like, you tell them something and everything's just like so black and white. They use words like always or never, just constantly. Like they only think in like, oh, this is always going to be like this. Oh, I'm never going to do that, and I'm always like, I find it so hard to interact with people like that are so like, I think there's a name for that. I forget what the cognitive bias, like the logical fallacy is for it, but like I think there is one that says just like, there's like a logical fallacy that like, because something is one way, it will always be that way. And I'm like, there's some people that are like that to a T. And so I'm like, okay, I actually am really interested. So I'm going to ask you afterwards for the name, or you can also just say for anyone else interested. But that sounds really interesting. The thinker piece.
Yeah. Yeah, the book is called Surrounded by Idiots.
Oh, right. Okay.
I forgot who it's by, but you look it up, it should be like the first result. But yeah, it's a pretty good book. I read it like 2 years ago because I was trying to get better at like the job I had at the time. And yeah, it's a pretty good book.
Yeah. Nice. All right. Well, we're right about the hour mark, so this has flown by. I feel like it's, I'm like, oh boy, there's like hours more we could talk about, but that's why they have follow-up episodes and stuff, I'm sure.
True.
Yeah. But thank you so much for chatting with me, and it's been honestly an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.